So you guys are helping etch our mark in history. Thank you so very much. We are so extremely grateful for you. We're going to let the team members go back to doing their work. But tonight we've been talking, or this whole weekend, we've been talking about 25,001. And I still don't know if God has broken that record yet or not. But tonight, friends, I want to tell you this. I'm not sure that when we found out about this record, that it was ever about the number. I don't know if it was ever about the number or if it was about taking back ground. Have you noticed a common theme this weekend? People talking about standing up to pornography, standing up to lust, standing up going after our children. How about standing up to the devil and taking back ground? What do you think? And ever since he told us about this idea, I just keep thinking for such a time as this, we were supposed to go after this. We were supposed to try to get to 25,001. But I really think it was all about shining light in the darkness. See, in John it tells us, and I got to tell you something, the older I get, it's the harder to read my Bible from far away without those funny glasses. But it says in John 1:5, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. I don't know about you, but I believe the darkness has been overtaking my heart for a lot of years. See, when we went after the 25,001, I thought it was about having 25,001 people on the grounds. But I'm wondering, was it about just letting our hearts pour out to Jesus again? See, last year I think I got up here and I talked to you. 2 years ago we held the largest festival gathering we've ever held. 5 days after that festival I fell and broke my foot in a hotel room with my wife. They put a boot on my foot. They said you got to wear it for 8 weeks. I could stand, but I could not walk. And I knew that it was a prison sentence when I put that boot on. I knew that 8 weeks later I would never walk again. I fought with everything I had to walk again. The boot came off, and you see me today. I did not walk again after that. And I talked to you about being in the desert because the darkness started to cloud up, similar to what it did here over the weekend every now and then. All of a sudden the sun would go away and the clouds would come over. And I told you I needed to go to the desert because I was living in the desert. Because, friends, over the last few years, I have watched loved ones, people that I care deeply about, lose children and spouses. And my heart ached. I've watched other friends celebrate. Well, celebrate's not the right word. Anguish as another anniversary came as their loved one was gone. And I kept hearing those lies that Satan loves to tell. I gave up ground, friends. The devil took it, and he distorted it, and he started to whisper in my ear. And the hope that I hold on to so deeply that I want you to have as well, darkness came in to extinguish it, to dwindle it, to get it to go out. Because as I watch loved ones walk through heartache, or I watch my body deteriorate in front of my eyes, I let Satan whisper in my ear what the book is titled. This idea of broken, still chosen, it's on my t-shirt. Finding hope in Jesus when you feel unloved, unseen, or forgotten. If I just ask by a show of hands, have you ever felt unloved? Anybody? Put your hand up if you've ever felt unloved. Don't be bashful. What about ever felt unseen? You ever felt unseen? You ever felt forgotten? Those are 3 words that I have struggled with most of my life. Feeling unloved, unseen, and forgotten. And friends, when I say that, I don't mean just by people in front of me like you guys. I mean being unloved, unseen, and forgotten by God. 2 years ago, I broke my foot, and I could no longer walk. I've walked alongside friends as they've lost loved ones or had another anniversary where their loved one is not here. I've prayed for things that I wanted to see happen. We just sang about that. Don't stop praying. Yet there's moments where it's like, why continue? It doesn't seem like God's hearing me. But I continued on praying, asking God, give me the strength. Let me stand again. Let me walk again. Let me walk out here like I used to years ago. Or my wife's back, who has gotten so bad caring for me over the years. God, restore it. Make it better. My wife and I don't get to go hardly anywhere by ourselves anymore. There is no such thing as a date night anymore. Now it's a date night and some dude that's got to go with me. So it's what do you call that, a third wheel? That's always a good time. Or when we go on vacation and the kids have one hotel room and my wife and I have another. Imagine this. My 21-year-old son, who is just up here, coming to tuck me into bed. You know how romantic that is? Hey, bud, could you put me in bed so I could go to bed? And then get out of here. Or, hey, bud, I need you at 7:30 in the morning so I can get up. Or, hey, bud, mom and I want to go to dinner tonight. Can you come along? Or another young man, hey, Jared, can you come? I want to go to dinner tonight. And the devil just kept going, see, he doesn't love you. He's forgotten you. You don't matter. And I started to believe it. And I started to wrestle and wrestle and wrestle and wrestle with it. And then, friends, January 4, I was so excited. I've got some friends here from New Hampshire, and I apologize for my pacing. I can't walk, so I drive around in the wheelchair. And my wife gets really nervous, but they put really nice orange lines on here, so I won't fall off. But I know she just got really nervous with that little move. But I got friends here from New Hampshire, and I was supposed to fly there on January 5. My wife was still helping me stand up at the time. We had gone to a basketball game where my youngest daughter, Aiden, was a cheerleader. So I thought, we got to go support her, right? You got to go support your kids. Cheerleading, whatever it is, basketball, cross country, football, wrestling, you got to go support them. So we went to the game. I said to my wife at halftime, I want to leave a little bit early because I got to drive to Minneapolis tomorrow and I got to get on a flight. And friends, I don't know about you, but to get this ready in the morning takes about an hour and 45 minutes. But don't I look, well, you know what I look like. Takes about an hour and 45 minutes, so I knew it was going to be an early morning. I said I want to go at halftime. I supported the first half. I need to go home, get some rest. My wife and I went out to the car like we've done 1,000 times. I raised this chair. She wrapped her arms around me to stand me up, but this time something went wrong, and we fell. And my knee and my leg got caught under, and I heard it pop when we went down, and I was in excruciating pain I've never felt before. And she goes, we got to go to the emergency room. And I was, oh, no, I got to get home, get some ibuprofen. I got a plane to get on tomorrow morning. But the pain was so intense, I could feel my heartbeat constantly. I couldn't get it to stop throbbing. And then as I was laying there, I just thought, God, why? And I'm screaming in pain. My wife is stuck underneath me. Thank goodness Riley, our MC, was in the back seat. She was on the side where the chair was, so she opened the door, slammed the door into my wheelchair. That kind of frustrated me, left a scratch. But then she went around the other side, got out of the car, and pulled my leg out. But by this time, it was too late. We got to the emergency room. I was in the emergency room, and I just could not get my breath. I could not stop just grimacing in pain. And I knew I needed to get away, so I wheeled away, and I found this waterfall. And it just soothed me just for a few moments, but then the pain was intense again, and finally we go into the emergency room, and Corey, who travels with me, somebody had called him and said, you got to come. They're gonna move him around, and I'm going to have you lift him. And earlier that day, I said to my wife, I said, she put these jeans on me, and I said, I think they're my favorite jeans. And I was like, oh, cool. So I fell. I'm in the emergency room. They come in, and they say, I want to give you something in your arm. And I'm like, I really don't want anything. But they gave me some ibuprofen to get the pain to go down. I was feeling pretty good. And the doctor goes, we're going to have to cut those jeans off. And I thought, And my wife was like, are you sure? Are you sure we got to cut? I mean, we're Dutch, right? She's like, are you sure we got to cut those off? Don't you think Corey can lift you? I said, yes, I think Corey can lift me. He lifted me. I screamed so loud in pain because when that leg went straight, the doctor was on another side of the hospital, came running in the room because I think he thought I was dying. That pain was so intense. Those jeans, I hate those jeans now. We saved them, but I hate them. I don't even like wearing them anymore. We saved them. They took me, got x-rays. He lifted me again. I screamed as loud as I possibly could. But before we got to the x-ray table, I was in my boxers. And I was wheeling into the x-ray room, and they had to take me through the hospital to go to a different one because the table was a little bit lower. I just kept thinking, God, what? And as I went to go down a hallway, I saw a family that was going through even more significant loss, potential loss. And as I looked up, there she was, standing with a RiseFest t-shirt on. And it was a wink from God that said, I see you. I went, I did the x-ray, pain. I went home, and I thought maybe I can get on that plane tomorrow. I said, Corey, see if I can stand. He stood me up. That was the dumbest thing I've ever asked him to do in my life. I think I woke up every neighbor on our block. It hurt so bad. And I thought, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I can't move. And then I had to go to the doctor and get treatments and, check it to see if the bone would heal. And every time I went, God would just whisper something again. I'd be in the waiting room and somebody would stop me and say, Rob, thank you for what you do. I'm like, what? What? God, Rob, thank you for RiseFest. Really? And all of a sudden, I broke my femur. It started back here. It came into the front of my knee. And they wouldn't let me put weight on it for a long time. And then by the time I could put weight on it, I could no longer lock it. I sit here before you tonight, and I lost again. I've not stood on my own since January 4th. It was the last thing I had for independence. I had to learn everything over again. We had to learn how to dress, go to the bathroom, everything. And friends, Satan would whisper to me, see, he doesn't love you. He's forgotten you. Or the worst one ever, he's punishing you. That's why you fell. And I am here tonight to tell you for the very first time in my life, 47 years old, when I fell on January 4 and broke my femur and can no longer stand, it is the very first time in my life I did not feel punished. I did not feel punished. It is the first time that I realized it's time to take ground back, friends. It is time to fight for your hearts. It is time to fight for your soul. It is time for you to figure out who you're listening to. I was listening to the liar of all liars. The Bible calls him the father of lies. He does not like the truth. He does not want you to know the truth. He does not want you to know who you are, because if you've accepted Jesus Christ, friends, do you know who you are? If you've accepted Jesus Christ, who are you? You are a child of God. You are the child of the Most High. Do you believe it? I'm serious. We are talking about your soul. We are talking about that when you take your last breath, friends, there are two choices. There is heaven and there is eternal separation from Almighty God. And I have never been more on fire, more passionate to want you to know Jesus, to know that you are a child of God when you accept his son Jesus, that you can be a new creation, that if you fall and you never stand again, it's not because you're being punished. It's just because things happen. We live in a fallen world. I tell my kids all the time, life is not fair. Friends, if life was fair, Jesus wouldn't have gone to the cross. Life is not fair, but there's one place where the ground is level. One place and only one place. And it's at the foot of the cross of Jesus. There's only one place. I am so tired of living in fear and anxiety. I am so tired of wondering, am I being punished? That I want to live in victory. I want to live in freedom. I want to live in Jesus. And that's where I want you to live tonight. So I'm sure if I got real with you and we sat down and had coffee and I said, friend, do you ever feel unloved? You would say yes. Do you ever feel God has forgotten you? From time to time. Do you ever feel like you're overlooked? Yeah. Well, I want to tell you tonight, you are not overlooked. You are loved by the Most High God, and I want you to know him. I sit before you tonight. I have not stood. I got up at, I don't remember what time this morning. I think it was 7:40? 7:40. No, it wasn't. It was 6:40. That's why I can't remember. It was 6:40 in the morning. The routine is my wife puts me in a lift. She wheels me to the shower. She lowers me on the shower seat. She puts me in another lift. We kind of stand. Yes, I have to use the bathroom. So we go to the, you know what it's called, the toilet. That's actually where we get dressed. I mean, it's very romantic. She puts me in another lift, stands me up for 30 seconds. Because, friends, I don't know if you know this, but you see I cannot push my body weight up. How do you pull your pants up? You don't. And I'm not coming out here naked. So we have found out how to put a strap around me to stand me up, to pull them up, so that we can do this. Then she puts me in this chair, and then I either go to my car to drive in the driver's seat, or I sit in this chair. My rear end has only left this chair one time since this morning. I used to find a spot here on the grounds when it would be quiet to stand, just to stretch out. I don't do that anymore. I sit. And I am here tonight to tell you that although I feel as though I've lost lots of independence and I watch friends hurt, I have never, ever been more in love with Jesus than I am now. I love Jesus. I love Jesus so much. And tonight I want your hearts to have the opportunity to think about this song. We've got a special gal behind me. Not only is she our creative director, she's also a friend. I mean, we've been doing battle together for 12 and a half years. Ellie, our creative director, who does amazing work. You see it all weekend long on the screens. She takes beautiful photos, puts an awesome team together, and she wrote a song that I want to share with you tonight. Well, actually, she's going to share it with you. But it's called I Know. I want you to listen to this.